going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing you Ravens content every single day. And guys, it's finally here. It's been a little bit since we have had a Baltimore Ravens playoff pregame stream. The last one was against the Buffalo Bills in prime time. We actually saw Tyler Huntley in that game, but Joshua, we've had some big games from some teams, a lot of games that people thought were going to be blowouts that ended up being pretty close, especially that Miami Dolphins game. But also even the 49ers game the 49ers ended up blowing out the Seahawks. Mm-hmm. But the Seahawks were able to start strong. Kind of gives me hope for the Ravens as kind of a major underdog in this big game. But how are you feeling today? How are you feeling about this week? Are you ready?
We still got the one of the biggest upset that happened with Jacksonville and the Chargers. I know the Chargers were hurting, but still everybody still thought Chargers were going to still beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Duval, the boys out there in Duval showed that hey, we here to play, we ain't going to just lie down. But when it comes to the Ravens Bengals game, man, it's big brother versus little brother. Little brother, right now, they got one up on us. They got their chest poked out, and they feeling themselves, which is no problem at all. But at the end of the day, we gotta show them who's really who's the real kings of the AFC North, who really runs the AFC North, which is the Ravens, man. And the only thing that worries me, that bothers me, and McConnell, I think we probably had the same worry, is going to be the quarterback play. I don't know if you heard, I don't know how true it is, but they talking about maybe running Anthony Brown and Snoop at the same, not at the same time, but different possessions. I don't agree with that. I feel like it's going to mess with each other's momentum. If you're gonna run a QB and you feel like you got the best odds, I think it would be with Anthony Brown. But hey, neither here or there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this. I am a hater. Of Tyler Huntley. I don't like his game, but I gotta say I'm happy that he's playing. I feel like I have more confidence in him, just because he is someone that has always at least kept games close.
Okay.
And he hasn't been able to win a lot of those close games. That's been a knock on him. But the thing about close games is if one thing goes your way in that fourth quarter, that's how you can win that game, right? Maybe it's, remember Odafe Owe, punched the ball out of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Mm-hmm. And it was like, boom, that was able to win the Ravens the game against the Chiefs. It looked like it was all done and all out. The Ravens against the Giants, the Giants had some things go their way. I believe it was a Gus Edwards fumble that they were able to get in the fourth quarter, and it just changes the momentum so much more drastically. We can't get into a situation like we were in last week where it's, a 20-point game early, and then the Ravens have to play perfect football, to finish the game and have a chance. They need to come out and they need to ride the run game, and at least Tyler Huntley helps drastically with the run game because of that read option ability, because of his ability to scramble. So I do like that Tyler Huntley is active. I do like that he's healthy. The other big healthy player, the other active, is Marcus Peters. And Marcus Peters hasn't had the best year, but at the same time, this is a guy that's played pretty well for the Baltimore Ravens in the postseason historically. I think the biggest one was, he had the game-sealing pick against the Tennessee Titans. And so I really want to see him out there, him being a playmaker. The Ravens need to force turnovers. That's how they're going to have to win this game, is they're going to need to force turnovers and play really good defense. So at least Marcus Peters has a chance for those turnovers and those big plays. So huge fan to watch, very excited to watch this defense, but the healthy players are good. Some players that are out, Pepe, I believe Brandon Stevens, Charlie Kolar, those are kind of the big ones that I can remember that are out this game. But overall, relatively healthy.
Charlie Kolar, dang it.
Yeah.
I was hoping him to be out there again, man. It was nice to see him out there. He was such a big addition to that passing game. I mean, I give you that point, in regards to Snoop and the RPOs, but the thing about Snoop is he doesn't know how to get that. He doesn't know how to go down. He's like 6 foot 5'11", and I don't know if he's over 200, but he tried to throw his body, he tried to throw his weight around, and luckily the Cincinnati Bengals, you don't have that enforcer on the defense, in my opinion. That's going to say, hey, you know what? He's going to keep on throwing his weight around. I'm going to shut him up. But the Ravens do. We got enforcers. We had Patrick Queens. We had the Roquan Smith. Hell, Kyle Hamilton been putting a helmet. But he's been knocking dudes out. He's been laying the law. So I mean, they guys want to talk about us being chippy. By all means, continue being chippy. This is a dogfight. This ain't boy. Boy, it is a trip. Oh man, but I mean, honestly, man, win, lose, or draw. I just want them to play I want them to put their best game forward. I know I'm asking a lot out of John Harbaugh and Gregory Roman to coach the best game, like it's depending on their life. A part of me feel like they will. A part of me feel like they won't. But hey, all the man can do is hope. Honestly.
Yeah, and the Ravens obviously have to play very well, and the postseason in recent years has typically come down for the Baltimore Ravens, the play of the rookies. Like when you look at the recent games, it's been, the rookies that were like, man, I really wish we could have had that guy step up, or man, why didn't we draft this position, right? We had some drops from the wide receivers in 2019, and it was like, man, why do we draft these guys? We've had, we can't get to the passer. We can't get that pressure. We should have gone after, maybe an edge rusher or something like that. This game, I think, is going to come down to the rookies of the Ravens, right? You've got yourself an edge rusher, in Mr. David Ojabo, who had his first career sack against the Bengals last week, strip sack on Joe Burrow. You've got Kyle Hamilton, who played a great game last week. You have Tyler Linderbaum, being your center, and he didn't have a great game last week. He had a few penalties. One of the first games where I've kind of noticed, okay, he doesn't seem 100% ready. He's going up against a veteran, good defensive tackle. So, you got to give him a little bit of a pass right there. But, he's gotten, that experience now against those guys who played against him twice. He's got to have a good game. He's got to have a good performance. And then Isaiah Likely, as that kind of number 2 guy, these rookies, and even Jordan Stout, if the Ravens do have to punt, these rookies are going to be guys that need to play very well. It's not going to be as much of a rely on the vets. It's going to be, yeah, we've got good vets, but we need the rookies to make plays. We can't just hide the rookies. The rookies have to step up and make their own decisions and make their own plays rather than being in the background. So then we look at it and go, oh man, we didn't really see much of Kyle Hamilton this game. No, we need to see Kyle Hamilton all over the field. We need to see Tyler Linderbaum blocking in the second half of the field. We need to see Isaiah Likely getting big receptions, because if we're not seeing those plays, the Ravens don't have a chance in this game. This could be the most important game for a Ravens rookie class ever. Ever. If they're going to have a chance at winning, because it's always been rely on the vets, because rookies typically don't have a huge role in the Ravens team.
I like the fact that you bring that up. I mean, honestly, and there's so many things that can work in our favor, especially, Isaiah Likely. I don't know what it is. Sometimes he doesn't have the best performances when Mark Andrews is active on the field. Maybe it's due to the plays and the routing. But they need to put him in the slot. Put him in the slot. Put him in the opposite side, away from Mark Andrews. Do not have them run towards each other. Keep them away from each other. You don't want your weapons in the same spot. You want your weapons stretching the field, because at the end of the day, like you said earlier, man, in order to win these type of playoff games, it's going to come down to your run game. And if we, are able to spread the field, keep these guys spread out wide, because their secondary is not the best. I mean, the only guy that they have right now, oh my gosh,
you got Jesse Bates.
Yeah, Jesse Bates, and I give it to the rookie. What is it, Cameron Britt Taylor, something like that. He's not bad. He's not bad. He plays pretty good. But I feel like we should take advantage of it. I'm not saying go full out, blown out, just pass the ball. No, JK is back. JK is hungry. If this is the time now to let these guys loose and let them run, I mean, let them all loose. If it has to be Justice Hill, if it has to be Gus Edwards, if it has to be, no, it can't be Kenyon. No, it can't be Kenyon Drake. If we have 4 running backs, but I know JK's hungry. JK's hungry. I feel like we get a big performance out of J.K. Dobbins. And then we got to talk about this defense. Their offensive line, they are hurting. They are literally hurting. They're missing their right guard. I think they're missing their left guard as well. So, I mean, Calais Campbell, Travis Jones, we see Travis Jones and Justin Madubuike always pushing the pocket. And that's going to be the beautiful thing about tonight. The thing is, we had to wrap up Joe Burrow and we had to apply pressure on him. Yeah, we need him to take whatever. Remember the first Space Jam, McConnell, when all the Looney Tunes drank the water, thought it was the special sauce. Whatever Justin Houston was drinking on, man, I need him to sip on that all night long because we definitely need that. We definitely need that presence. But like you said, man, these rookies like David Ojabo making an impact, with the strip sack last week. I need him to do that again. And honestly, him being out there with Adafi and with Adafi lining up in the inside, it actually worked. So keep on getting exotic, Mike McDonald, and let your front seven roam. I mean, we all know that Cincinnati Bengals arguably have one of the best passing wide receiver cores. If we shut that down, I don't see Joe Mixon winning them the game. I just don't. I really don't.
Yeah. I mean, if this comes down to the run, the Ravens' run defense is so good without even focusing on the run because that's what they like. That is ingrained in every Baltimore Ravens player. Stop the run first. Calais Campbell said it, in a pregame speech, earn the right to rush the passer. How do you earn that right? You force them into passing situations, so then they're passing, right? Make them get an incompletion on first down. Make them get a 1 yard run rather than a 5 yard run. Put them in passing situations because that's when you can tee up on them and really try and get one of those big plays. And, last week against the Ravens, Joe Burrow, you got to give the hat, take the hat off to him. He was doing very well at evading pressure, and the Ravens were unable to really bring him down. Yeah. The benefit is the Ravens played them last week. They kind of know, okay, yeah, you know what? It's in the mind because sometimes you play against a guy and you kind of forget, right? Especially a guy like Joe Burrow, where you're not thinking, pocket awareness and being able to avoid pressure. You're thinking, okay, he's got a good arm, he's accurate, just get to him and you can throw him off his game. That's not Joe Burrow. And that's also not Tom Brady, right? It's the same thing with Tom Brady. Tom Brady is one of the best. Tom Brady and like Breeze are probably two of the best, pocket presence, pocket mobility quarterbacks, definitely of the 21st century, but maybe of all time. Those are two all-time legends where it's like, oh yeah, you get to, you beat your guy and then Brady takes that step up or Breeze takes that step up. He's cool under pressure and he's still able to make that throw. It's frustrating. It's infuriating. You have to make sure that when you get to that quarterback, you're able to finish or at least disrupt, right? If you make him throw it away, that's fine. You don't want him to be able to avoid you and then throw it downfield. Like that's what kills the Ravens is, the Ravens were able to go out and they, forced a couple of, Joe Burrow scrambles and then he got the first down. And it's like, yeah, that sucks. That's not what you want to see. You want to see the Ravens go out there and you want to see them get to Burrow and you want to hit him, right? Yeah. You want him to fumble the football. You want him to make a bad pass. You need to force turnovers. That's how you're going to win this game. And luckily the Ravens have gotten good pressure. The Ravens have been able to force turnovers from that, front seven. And, another big thing is Calais Campbell and the rest of the defensive linemen get those tipped balls, right? Tip them up so Roquan, so Kyle Hamilton, so Chuck Clark, so Patrick Queen can get under them, right? That's one of the most underrated ways of causing turnovers is the tipped ball because Joe Burrow can get the ball out quick. We saw it in the Chargers versus Jaguars game. Trevor Lawrence made the right read on an RPO when he goes, okay, they're playing the running back, and he threw it real quick. Defensive lineman jumps up and bats it out, far right hand reaching up, and it tips. He goes directly to the linebacker and he catches it. And it's like that's not on T-Law. That's just a heck of a play. Calais Campbell has made those plays before. That's one of the biggest things. And also, Kirk Cousins just Joe Flacco'd this loss. What he did, he threw a check down on 4th and 8. And the guy was completely covered. And so we just caught it, was instantly tackled on 4th and 8. So shout out to Kirk Cousins. That reminded me of Joe Flacco against the Cincinnati Bengals, week 18 of, 2015 or whatever, when Tyler Boyd had that game winner. Ravens had a minute and a half left. And on 4th down, Joe Flacco threw a drag route to Benjamin Watson with no timeouts. and Benjamin Watson was tackled immediately. And I remember watching that play, and I was like, dude, what are you doing? You like Kirk Cousins, come on, throw the ball to Justin Jefferson, do something.
Of course not. Come on now. We all know. We all know about Kirk Cousins. Sorry that your team took the L, Jake.
Yeah. One purple team, we can do it. Let's get one for the purple teams.
I mean, honestly, man, I think everybody in the chat, maybe we all are in agreement. I say, as long as we beat the Cincinnati Bengals, man, I don't care if we lose to the Bills. I just want to beat the Bengals.
We would play the Chiefs next round.
Oh, shit. Hold on now. Well, hey, I just want to beat Cincinnati, man. I just, like I said, it's big brother, little brother, and it's, mentality, but also it's just the jaw jacking too. Yeah, you supposed to come into the room with swagger, but at the end of the day, it's like, I don't care how much swagger you got, yo. You're not going to outdo me. And granted, yes, we have some poor coaching. We may have some poor play calling. I mean, it's going to be a Ravens Cincinnati Bengals game. It's going to be an AFC North rival game. That's going to happen. It's the playoffs. It's one and done. So a lot of things are going to happen. I just say buckle up, everybody, because it's going to be a ride tonight. I just don't see them. I don't see them going crazy. I don't see their offense going crazy. As long as if we actually score, take all the points. I don't know how many times we have said this in a live stream of taking all the points, and Greg and John don't do it. But tonight they need to take every touchdown, safety, whatever the case may be, in order to stay in front.
Yeah, this is a game. Again, all playoff games are like this, but the Ravens aren't built like these other teams. They're not built like they're the most unique team in this playoffs, I'll say, because most of the teams, they're able to come back. Like that's how these teams are built. The Giants are able to come back. Definitely the Chiefs, the Bills, the Vikings, the 49ers, the Seahawks. They're able to create these explosive plays and quick touchdowns. That's able to ignite themselves. That's not the Ravens. And Joshua, we talked about this right when Rashad Bateman went down, like week 7 or whatever that was. If the Ravens are going to win football games, it's going to be on the basis of 2 things. They control the clock running the football, and they play really, really good defense. Mm-hmm. Like they can't get behind. People talked about Lamar Jackson when he came out. This guy can't come from behind. It wasn't that Lamar couldn't come from behind. It's the Ravens weren't built to come from behind. They needed to be ahead, or they needed to at least be in the game to where they can control their own destiny. They could get the ball with 6 minutes left. Remember in 2019, man, Ravens would get the ball with like 8 minutes left in a 3-point game, and it was like, oh, the game's over. They're not touching the ball.
Man,
I think the Ravens beat the Niners that year, the 8-1 Niners or whatever. They got the ball with 6 minutes left in a tie game, and the Niners never touched the ball again. And Justin Tucker hit a game winner. Like, that's how they were able to play. That's how they were able to control the clock. It was just...
remember the Colts, too.
Colts as well. Like, they were able to just control things. But that was, I feel like, the Colts comeback was... That was when Lamar had Hollywood, and they kind of had shifted their offense. Like, that was early year. Like, they're still healthy kind of Ravens.
Yeah.
Now it's the Sammy Watkins, and we saw last week. Like the Ravens weren't built to come back against the Bengals. Like they actually started moving the ball, but they needed touchdowns. If that was a close game and they were moving the ball like that, the Ravens are looking like they're in a great spot. But instead, they're down by 17, and you're like, oh man, another field goal, because they had turnovers early. Tyler Huntley, the one thing that he's good at is he doesn't turn the ball over. That is something that he has gotten very good at. Maybe he throws a pick, but it's traditionally, the Ravens may, go 3 and out, but it was 3 run plays and the Ravens got 9 yards. I would much rather play the field position battle, let the defense do their thing, because you can't give the Bengals that kind of momentum where they go, oh, we got the ball at the 30. We did this last week. We got the ball at the 30. Jamar Chase, quick touchdown. Just throw it up. And then it's like, oh, no. That instantly changes everything. Make them go on an 8-play drive. Because the Ravens defense can force turnovers. You can't give them easy points.
Was it 6 3 and outs last week? in the
six
second half.
3-and-outs in the second half, and 1 turnover forced on the second play of a drive. So it could have been, and it was a sack, it was a strip sack. So it could have been 7 3-and-outs.
So I mean, we got the defense. The thing is, we had to. The coaching on the offensive side of the ball, defense is holding up. It's literally the coaching on the offensive side of the ball. Like you gotta run plays. The players gotta execute to a point where you know what, y'all want to win. Y'all want to get a touchdown. I know it doesn't always happen, but I mean sometimes we just gotta go out there and play. We gotta play like we never played before. Like these guys, it need to damn near be almost a senior night under the lights, Friday night. Like play like that. Like it's going to be your last game. Play like that. Play like I mean, it's a lot on the line. It's a wild card. We already know like the narrative right now that Lamar is not hurt, that he could play. If he is hurt, he need to brace it up and be there for his team. So I mean. You got so many speculations. We talk about Greg Roman possibly in final of the all season. John Harbaugh may possibly losing his job. We talk about this run guru is the best offensive coordinator. He's made guys who they are. So I mean, it's so many different twists and turns. We could have went forward on 4th and down. The coach is not really, standing up for their players, stuff like that. I think in Baltimore, and the Ravens need to win to just shut everybody up and shut everything down. just for their sake, honestly. Like just put everything behind them, just focus on this game. Just go out there and play your best. Like Snoop, everybody's pretty. I know Tyler Huntley has to hear that, everybody calls him the great value Lamar Jackson. If you want to create your own legacy right now, tonight is literally the night to do so.
Yeah, you gotta go out there and because he knows that Lamar Jackson's going to get a contract. Like if Tyler Huntley wants to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, this is by far his best chance. By far his best chance to show the world that he could be that guy. Regular season backup game. No. You got to look at what backup quarterbacks have done, right? You got to look at Nick Foles.
Yeah.
Because Nick Foles, it was like, oh, no, he's a backup. And he went out there and he won a couple of playoff games. He won the Super Bowl and teams, and I think it was the Jaguars. They went, we're going to sign this guy to a major deal. Because he looked like, oh, man, this is the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Eagles had Carson Wentz, and they were going to ride with their guy. Like, the Ravens are obviously going to ride with Lamar Jackson. So Tyler Huntley needs to go out there. And here's the thing. Tyler Huntley has nothing to lose in this game. Because, if he doesn't play well, it's a backup quarterback in the playoffs with a bad wide receiver core. Yeah, he lost. Whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if he goes out there and he wins or he plays extremely well, we get preseason Huntley, whatever you want to call him. People look at him and they go, "Damn, this guy." Right? Like you got to look at Skylar Thompson. Skylar Thompson lost, but man, that guy balled out. Like that guy is going to be a backup quarterback in the NFL next year. Like absolutely. Like he's not losing his job. Even though he was the third string quarterback, he's not losing his job. Tyler Huntley needs to look at it like, hey, I got to go out here and I got to do my thing. And that doesn't mean be Superman. That doesn't mean DTM. That means manage the game. Brock Purdy did not play a very good game. I actually thought he played a really bad first half for the San Francisco 49ers. But you know what he did? He trusted the players around him. He gave it to the playmakers. He gave it to Deebo Samuel on a 10, 15-yard throw. Deebo takes it like 75 yards for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
He's hitting these guys short. He's hitting them quick. Boom. Yak for a touchdown. Tyler Huntley needs to do the same thing. Hand it off to JK. Hit Mark Andrews quick. Hit Isaiah Likely quick. If Sammy Watkins is running one-on-one, we saw with Anthony Brown, hit him. He's making those plays. If you want to throw him open, go for it. Don't try and start squeezing throws in and trying to play like you're, a gunslinger, because you're not. You have to go out there and you have to play with your team. You don't need to be the greatest player of all time to win with this roster. This is a great roster. You just have to rely on the things that it's built on. It's not the pass. It's relying on the run. If the Ravens can get into 3rd and 1s, the Ravens can get those 5-yard just chunk plays or chunk plays in the run. Rely on J.K. Dobbins. Feed him. That's how they're going to have a chance in this game. And, on 3rd down, you hit Mark Andrews. And you hit your guys that are able to make those plays. Maybe don't hit Patrick Ricard. That's my one suggestion.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
But, Joshua, outside of quarterback play, who do you think the Ravens are looking to in this game? That's the most important. We'll say the X factor. Who's the X factor outside of quarterback in this game? And no coaches.
No coaches. All right, cool.
No coaches.
I might have to go with. Can I go with my running back group? I'm gonna go with my running back group for the simple fact, the last time we didn't been in the playoffs. All right, put it like this: the times where we really won in the playoffs, it came down to the running backs. That 2012 ride, it came down to Ray Rice and company. That 2000 ride, it was Jamal Lewis and company. Now, am I saying that we're going to make it to the Super Bowl? No, I'm not saying that. But at the end of the day, if you're going to win playoff games, it really comes down to the run game. Cincinnati Bengals did not have the best run defense, and how they let Kenyon Drake go crazy on them last week. So just imagine what J.K. Dobbins could do at an 80 or 100%. So, and also you get Gus Edwards back as well. We had to think about that. Yes, he cleared concussion protocol. He may not have been, the bruising back that we once loved, but once he's in there and he does get a hole, he makes one cut, and we know what Gus Edwards does. So I really feel like it comes down to the running game. We wear this defense down, take time of possession, but at the end of the day, as we're running down the clock and as we're running the ball down their throat, we are actually getting points. So I feel like it comes down to this run game, man.
I think that's a very good one. I'm going to go with Marcus Peters.
Okay.
Because I have so much confidence in Marlon Humphrey. And Marlon Humphrey may get beat for a touchdown, right? I'm fine if Marlon allows a touchdown. He's going up against great wide receivers. I don't need him to go 0 receptions allowed and 2 picks. I just need Marlon to play pretty good coverage against Jamar Chase or T. Higgins, whoever he's covering. The Ravens' weakness in the passing game this year is whoever has been on the other side of the field of Marlon Humphrey. Last week it was T. Higgins. And T. Higgins or whoever Marlon wasn't guarding, basically. Sometimes Marlon was on Jamar Chase, sometimes Marlon was on T. Higgins.
Yeah.
Now it's Marcus Peters. And Marcus Peters has been a guy that's picked 6 Joe Burrow before. He's been a guy that has had big time plays for the Baltimore Ravens in big time games against very good quarterbacks. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson picked 6. That was a huge game for the Baltimore Ravens. The Joe Burrow one, that was great. That was actually the next week, I believe. Right after that. If Marcus Peters can go out there and have a pretty good game, and tackle well, again, I don't need Marcus Peters to allow 0 receptions. If he gets beat, that's fine. It's not getting beat on a 10-yard out route and then having it go for 80 yards. Like, that's what kills the Ravens, because the Ravens defense is so good in close quarters. They're so good in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you make teams have to drive and really grind their way through, that's how they're able to get the stops. The ways that the Ravens have they've allowed very few touchdowns on just 8, 9, 10, 11 play drives. It happens.
They made them work. We've been making team work for sure.
Like the Ravens, when they are winning, it's, they didn't allow any big plays. And the guys allowing the big plays are typically the number 2 corner. It's DeMarion, it's Pepe, it's Brandon Stevens. Remember that game against the New England Patriots? Man, Brandon Stevens was getting mossed every play. Marcus Peters just has to go out there and play pretty good coverage. Maybe he recovers a fumble. Maybe he gets a nice knockdown, whatever it is. As long as he goes out there and he is able to not get burnt, that is a massive upgrade for the Ravens defense. Because Darrell Worley got mossed last week.
Yeah.
And they were just throwing at him every play. He made a couple of good plays, but they were throwing at him every single time. I think Marcus Peters, especially on the defensive side of the ball, is my MVP. Because I feel like I know what I'm going to get out of Marlon. I know what I'm going to get out of Marcus. I know what I'm going to get out of Roquan. Maybe it's a pass rusher. I just couldn't choose one. Maybe it's David Ojabo. Maybe it's Justin Houston. Maybe it's JPP. Maybe it's Adafe. One of those guys we need to play very well. Benefit is the Ravens do have 4 players that can go out there and make a play on any given play. And I know people are not fans of Adafe, but here's the one thing that you have to give him credit for. When the lights are on, Adafe has always played his best football. Even that Steelers game, he was the one getting pressure all game, and he was forcing Kenny Pickett to roll out. He didn't get a sack, but he was dominant. He was winning at the point of attack. He was forcing pressure. He was forcing rollouts. He's forcing throwaways. He had his best game of his career against Patrick Mahomes in prime time, and he forced an interception. He forced a fumble in that game. He is someone that is constantly disrespected, and again, this guy sets the edge on the run plays. If Roquan Smith makes a hit in the B gap, it might be because Adafe's on the edge, not allowing Mixon to get to the outside. And I think it's run stuffing outside linebackers are so difficult to judge because statistically they're not valuable. And we talked about this. Losing Matthew Judon was more detrimental to the Ravens defense, not for the pass rushing, but because it was like, who's going to be our run stuffer? Who's going to set that edge? Because that's what he was good at. That's why he made the Pro Bowl. It wasn't like, oh, he's getting 16 sacks. He's going crazy. It was like, well, there's Matthew Judon not allowing that guy to get to the outside. That has become Adafe as he's developing his pass rush skills. So, I do want to give a shout out to Adafe and Patrick Queen and the guys that have been inconsistent, you could say, throughout their career. But they've also shown the ability to have really big games and really big plays.
Yeah, I mean, the intangibles, like you said, the tangibles are not things that's put on the stat sheet, but they play a big difference. We all knew Adafe Way was a project guy. Now, I mean, if we had to redo the draft over, we had the opportunity to get, Micah Parsons. By all means, I probably would, draft Micah Parsons. We all know that. But, I do feel like, in this defense, we are going to see a rejuvenation of Adafe Way. I mean, he's literally, still getting his footing in the NFL. He's still getting his footing just playing football alone. David Ojabo, we haven't seen him on a full season yet, but he does seem a little bit more polished. He's more violent than Adafe, and there's something that those two could probably work together over the off season. We've seen how Justin Madubuike, maybe one of the dark horses of this defense, how he's worked with Aaron Donald over this past offseason, and how does portrayed onto the field. I mean, he's always in the backfield. He's pushing the line. He's very violent at attack. So I mean, hey, I love what we're doing. I love these young guys, and I love my Ravens. Win, lose, or draw, man. I'm just ready for this dog fight, man. I'm excited.
This is what the NFL is all about. And being a Ravens fan and being a Stanford football fan, it's always been about defense for me. I've always wanted to watch a defensive battle in a game where you need to play great defense than a game where it's going to be a 50-point game. And I know I'm in the minority with that, but this is a game where, this is the type of game that I love. An uphill battle, a tough game, but we get to watch defensive players go out and we get to watch them play their hearts out to try and win this game. And Lisa brought it up 10 minutes till game time. Joshua, could be the last one of the year. I hope it's not. Let's get into some bold predictions. Let's start off with the offensive side of the ball. What's a bold prediction for this game?
I got JK going for 220, 2 touchdowns.
Woo!
I'm run it till his legs get tired. Run it till his legs get tired, man.
I got the Ravens running for over 200 yards. and I have them rushing for 2 touchdowns, one by Tyler Huntley, one by J.K. Dobbins. I think this is going to be a very run-heavy game from the Ravens, and I think they may get a passing touchdown from Tyler Huntley as well. And I think it'll go to a tight end. Could be Mark, could be Isaiah, likely one of those two guys. I think they're absolutely going to ride the run. They're absolutely going to ride JK. They're going to let him ride. I think he'll get like 125. 37-2. You got the Ravens getting the safety. I'll take a safety.
Hey, man.
That'd be fun. Now let's go to the defensive side of the ball. What's a bold prediction for the defensive side of the ball?
Yo, it's going to sound crazy because at the end of the day, if offense is not getting it going, defense is going to have to make something to turn up. So I got 2 pick sixes. I got one for Kyle Hamilton and under the lights, and I also got Marcus Peters taking one back to the crib. So, hey, turn up for me, y'all. I'm going to need y'all to turn up for me tonight. I'm
going to say the Ravens on defense, they force 2 turnovers. I think both are going to be interceptions. I think one's going to be a Calais Campbell tip picked off by a linebacker. I think the other is going to be a deep ball thrown over the top, and we get our main man. This guy's been killing it this year on these plays. Marcus Williams comes over as the safety help and gets another pick. I think he's already got 2 or 3 picks like that on the year. I think he gets another one today. Maybe it's towards the end of half or something like that. I think he gets a big interception in this game.
Remember, he did have one like that on Joe Burrow when he was in New Orleans. So
he did. Yes, that's true. All right. Joshua, do you have anything final to say before we get ready and we start watching this game?
Nah, man, I'm ready to go, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for them, man. I feel like I'm about to get out there and play with these guys, man. I'm just ready for this dog fight.
I'm just really excited to watch it and see the heart that they're playing with. John Harbaugh's never lost a road wild card game, which is very surprising, but he's going to have them come out and they're going to be playing really hard. As long as they play, fundamental, no cheap shots, but play physically. They got to establish themselves as being physical. Play the Bengals, who are riding a very hot win streak, exactly how the Tennessee Titans played us in 2019. Physical defense, pound the rock, don't turn the ball over, and capitalize on opportunities. That's how you win this game. Everyone, make sure to come through to the Ravens post-game stream. Hopefully, it's a very exciting one. If not, we'll still be live. So make sure to come through for that. Thank you all so much for coming through to the pregame. We'll see all of you after the game and hopefully preparing for next week's game.